Hello, welcome back to Make with Care. My name is Carolyn or Care, and this is my making channel where I talk about what I'm working on. It's usually knitting, and today I've got a knitting podcast for you. So grab yourself a project, something delicious to drink, and let's jump into it. Starting off with what I'm wearing, I've got two finished objects today. I'll first start with this one, which is my Holly bandana, which is a pattern by Susanne Müller. And yeah, this is knit up on, you can see the little, it's like a triangle bandana with lace in it. Very simple pattern repeat. And I knit this on Knitting for All Cotton Merino. The pattern calls for a 3mm needle. I used a 2.75. I just find that gives me a little bit better fabric that I like for cotton merino because it is such a light fingering. I also feel like in general my tension is a little bit loose, especially when I go lower in the needle sizes. So yeah, I knit this on a 2.75mm needle. It was a pretty quick project. I started it on the plane when I went out to Seattle recently. And then I finished it once I got back home. I've not really worn bandanas before, so this is kind of like a new look for me. I do really like this. It's like the pointel kind of trend, but without making a full garment of it. I do really like it, and I think I probably would do a full garment with it at some point. But yeah, for now, this is a good way for me to try out the trend. The pattern was pretty easy to follow. There's no chart, so it's all like written instructions. And so that was like, I think good for beginners and like pretty easy to follow because it's pretty simple. But it might have been nice to have a chart too if you like that. Just know that there's not one in the pattern. But again, it's like a really simple repeat, so it's not too difficult to memorize. And yeah. So I enjoyed working on this. I think it was I used my leftovers from my mixed rib cami last year, and I love this color. It's like my current obsession, which y'all will know. Yeah, so that is my first finished object. My second finished object is this. This is the Sabai top by Susanne Müller. And I knit this up in Drops Belle on the recommended needle size, which is a 4mm. The pattern has like two variants. You probably know this because it's a super popular pattern, but it's got like a ribbed top variant and then this one, which is just like a roll, kind of roll everywhere. And I did the roll variant. And then it does, I think, call for ribbing on the bottom, but I didn't do that. I just did like a rolled edge on the bottom. And then it's got like knit as you go kind of slip stitch details for the armholes. Absolutely like no short rows in the back here. Very, very, very simple to knit. This knit up super quickly for me. And that was the goal, is I was trying to finish it before the new Acorn concert here in Philadelphia like a couple weeks ago. I was able to successfully knit it in time. However, I got super sick. You might still hear it in my voice. My ear's actually still clogged. And I wasn't able to go ahead to sell my tickets, which was devastating. It was nice I did get all my money back. But I was and am devastated to have missed that. I even had my nails done. They have little bees and ladybugs on them, and then I did the duplicate stitch here, which is my first time actually doing duplicate stitch. It was pretty easy to do. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I just found this free little ladybug pattern on Google. It wasn't even like a knit chart, I don't think. I think it was for something else. But I just duplicate stitched it, and I do think because it is Drops Belle, it's like pretty thick here now, because I've got like 2 layers of the Drops Belle. And so it kind of like bunches a little bit, and I'm not sure if that's just how this pattern would be anyways, because it has no short rows. So like the front, you know, it's kind of like a, not the best fit, But then this, I feel like, kind of makes it a little bunchy, like right here and right here. But overall, I'm really happy with it. I may take out the duplicate stitch at some point. That's the nice part of it, right? You can just take it out. I'm not sure if it'll like super impact the fabric, like if it'll look really rumpled there or not, but maybe a couple rounds in like the washing machine will even it out. Yeah, I really liked working with this yarn. I do think people say it's like a really good dupe for Sadnes Garn Line. I think it is very, very similar. I actually feel like I felt like working with it was a little bit like it didn't feel as soft while working with it, but I think it came out really good, and like the price is very, very difficult to beat. So yeah, and I like how it looks, and it was a super fun quick knit. Definitely would recommend the Sabai top if you want like a very, very simple quick knit. If you're looking for something with like really tailored fit or like a very specific sort of fit, I probably would choose a different pattern. But if you're just looking for like super easy kind of tank to throw over and you don't necessarily care if the fit isn't completely perfect and it's just kind of a casual quick knit, then I would recommend it. Okay, I like sped through those. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to add about either of them. I mean, the Sabai top is just a ton of stockinette. It's great. And I will say that I used a lot less yarn than the pattern called for, like an annoying amount less. So I have a lot of leftovers, like probably enough to make an entire other tank top. And as I'm trying to maybe be a little bit more stash conscious, so that was kind of, that kind of sucked, like having so much extra yarn. But other than that, I think there's no problems with the pattern. So maybe just check like what people used on Ravelry for your size and like the yarn that you're thinking about using if you want to make this, and then kind of go from there in terms of how much yarn you buy. I definitely did crop it, but I didn't crop it by like, it's not like it's like up here, you know, it's like a full length, it like goes below my belly button. I think I am rather short-waisted, but even still, I don't feel like I cropped it 4 balls worth of drop spell short. So I may have, maybe I misread it or something, but I believe I ordered what the pattern recommended and I have a lot left over. So yeah. All right, my last finished, oh wait, my second to last finished object, the last finished object I have to show you and talk about here is, ignore this whole end because it's how I tell it's the back. This is the Sevilla Blouse, and this is wrinkled because it's been on my chair, but this is a pattern by Petiteknit, and I love this color. This is, sorry, see this one I used to just tell the back from the front, so I probably should just make it a little bit shorter so it doesn't like have the potential to stick out. But this is knit on Sadnes Garn Lina and Tynn Lina, both in the color Acorn, held together on US 8 5mm needles. So this is a very simple construction, drop shoulder summer blouse, and yeah, I knit this on the new Chowgu Quattro, like the quad. I only have one set of them, it's the 5mm, and I knit this on them, which was fun for the body. This has got a beautiful like picked up rolled edge at the collar, and you do like a tiny bit of short rows here just to shape the front, and that's like all the shaping that's in the pattern. So it's very minimal amounts of shaping. I do feel like it sits pretty well. The shoulder seam does sit like a little bit in front, like more than I think would be ideal for a drop shoulder blouse, but I do really like it anyways. I'll put a picture of me wearing it with the swimsuit, like over a swimsuit out in Washington, and my swimsuit matches. My partner actually calls that my Flintstone suit because it's like brown with black polka dots. But anyways, yeah, so this calls for, I pretty much knit it exactly to pattern, except I did a couple things. I added a few stitches in the underarm. I don't like it when drop shoulders just don't do any underarm stitches. Like I like something in the underarm. I think it makes sense. Like it's not your body doesn't go like this. It's like more, you know. So I added a couple stitches and then just decreased them out, which you can see a little bit here. But I think on it looks nice. Yeah, so I decreased out those stitches, and then the pattern calls for ribbing at the bottom. And I just did the rolled edge again, just like the instructions have you do with the collar. So I just did that on all the edges. It calls for ribbing on the sleeves as well. Again, I didn't do that. So I just did the roll little edge, and it didn't really roll too much, but I think it looks nice. One thing I will note is I think that my gauge on the smaller circumference is smaller. Like you can see, maybe you can see that compared to, like the gauge on the body just looks a bit bigger to me. I don't really think you can tell while I'm wearing it, but like looking at it, I feel like I can tell. And I think I've noticed this on some other patterns, so I think I might just start going up half a needle size on my sleeves and see how that goes. Unless I want the sleeve to be like, this sleeve is not tight by any means. It's totally, fits totally well. It's just something I noticed. Yeah, I don't think I made any other modifications. Oh, I did go a little bit further before I joined in the underarm. And like I said, I added those few stitches because I was worried that this was going to be like really tight. Maybe I just have like bigger arms. It's all the muscle, you know, really strong. I'm not, I'm very weak. But I knit a little bit further on both the front and the back before I joined them together in the underarm, just like longer than it called for. And I checked like the Olga sweater pattern and stuff like that, and they were all longer than this. And I know like the Olga is a more oversized and it's a sweater versus a blouse, but I just kind of, I'm gonna use this as a summer sweater. And yeah, so that's how I knit it. I have gotten some use out of this primarily like out in Washington, and then back here it's too hot to wear this outside, but indoors in places that have the AC turned up to like 1 billion, I do wear this. So this has been super nice, and it's very heavy because it is like, you know, basically an Aran weight with the two of them held together. So it's like very comforting. I love the feel of this. This is Lena and Tynn Lena held together. People say that like Lena and Drops Belle are the same, but even feeling this, like this just feels a little bit smoother and softer. And like, y'all can disagree with me. Maybe it's the colors or something too, or maybe it's the fact that I held Tynn Lena with Lena here. But I do think that there is a little bit of a difference in how they feel. And maybe that's just a placebo effect. Maybe that's just my brain inventing that. I do like the Drops Belle perfectly fine. It feels nice as well. But I do, if I had to pick, I think I would pick the feel of this. But yeah, that's my Sevilla blouse, and I'm really happy with how it came out. Yeah. I think if you're looking for like a casual summer sweater, again, it doesn't have the most tailored fit. This is again one with like less shaping, and I will say that the seam being like kind of towards the front and you can see it, is maybe not my favorite. So I kind of wish that it had like, it was pushed back a little bit further and it had like maybe more of a shoulder. But outside of that, I really like it, and I'm happy I knit it. I also have a lot of leftover yarn from this, so I'm wondering if this is maybe just a me problem. I don't have an absurd amount of leftover yarn though. I think I have like 1.5 skeins of each, which I think would be enough for a summer top. So I might make a summer top like holding the Line singular and then the Tynn Line double in like other places. Like I don't know if that would work, but maybe triple, I don't know. But I might be able to get another I love this color, so that'd be super cool if I could. But yeah, this is my Sevilla blouse by Petiteknit. My other finished object I actually already gave away, but I'll just briefly talk about it. It is a pair of Slow Morning DK socks that I knit for my brother. I love gifting DK weight ribbed socks. I think they're like the perfect gift knit. They're super cozy for house socks. They don't have to fit perfectly. And I picked out the yarn with my brother when I was in Austin, went to Knit ATX and picked out some cool yarn there. So he picked it out. And it is, I forgot what it's called, but I'll put it on the screen here. I think it's a Farmer Daughters Fiber, one of theirs. And so this was super fun yarn to work up. And he has huge feet. So these took so long, and they're actually like bigger than the biggest sock blockers I have. So in this picture here, you can see that they're on the sock blockers, but they're actually like bigger than it. So I had to kind of like finagle them to get it to fit on the sock blockers. I did do a contrast heel and toe. And this is just like some random sock, DK weight sock yarn I had that I had gotten on sale also at Knit ATX. Like it was in their sale section, I think for like $3 or something crazy. And I loved this bright pink color, and I thought that it really like went well with this yarn, and it just made it like more fun. And I think he liked the bright pop of pink as well. Yeah, so he tried them on, they fit perfectly, which I was like so relieved about, because, you know, it is kind of like, I like people to try on the socks as I'm making them. And I made some for my dad last year, and they're too big. I mean, he still wears them a lot, but they are like too big. So he's like, next time you can make them smaller. I'm like, okay. Yeah, so I am happy with how these came out. I think I'm getting better at socks, fingers crossed. I think a lot of it has just been tightening up my gauge a little bit or going down a needle size. Yeah, so that's these socks. Nothing crazy to say about them. This pattern does use a short row heel, which I do like, and it's not my favorite to knit. I would say my favorite is the Afterthought heel. I love the Afterthought heel. But yeah, it fit my brother well, and I think they turned out good. All right, so next up, we're gonna move into whips. I've got 3 whips today to talk about. I'll start with kind of maybe the least exciting one. I'll stay on the sock tangent for a second. I'm knitting my partner some fingering weight socks, and I'm using Summer Lee, her sock project book, the short row heel sock. So this is just, I knit myself a pair of socks with these colors reversed. They were ribbed, and they were blue with the maroon as the stripes. Now it's like maroon with the blue as the stripes and the heel. So I just finished the heel, and these look huge. My boyfriend has very large feet. I measured like the circumference of his foot, and I have to knit the extra large. So this is an 80 stitch cast on, and so it's just taking a little while. I'm knitting these. I knit my fingering weight socks on 2mm needles. I found that, like I said before, and I mentioned previously, I find that my tension, especially on like little needles, is loose. I think when I get to like bigger sizes, it's not as big of an issue as long as I'm paying attention and making sure I'm not knitting super loose. But on little needle sizes, I really struggle to get the correct gauge and tension. And I would say that like 2mm needles works really well for me. I apologize for the lighting today. The outside is like cloudy now, so it might be hard to see this. Maybe you can see it more on the heel. My tension's not perfect. An ongoing struggle, I think. But yeah, that is these socks. So I just did a 2x2 rib at the cuff, some 4-row stripes, and then the contrast heel, and then I'll do a contrast toe. I did decide to do the short row heel from the book, but I didn't realize until I was like halfway through the short row heel that it actually is one of those ones that has you like knit in the middle of the heel all the way around the foot. And obviously that's not going to work when doing a contrast color. So I did some Googling, and people are like, oh, you can omit those rows or you can just like knit back and forth. So I just knit back and forth once and then did like the other part of the short row turns. And I think that it looks, it's really hard to see, but I think it's looking okay. Hopefully you guys can see that. I did have him try it on. They seem to be fitting well. So I did actually do one little decrease in the middle of the leg here. I don't know if you can tell. Probably not. One set of decreases, and then I increased right before the heel because his ankle is a little bit smaller than the rest of like his leg, and his foot is really big. Like this with the 80 stitches barely gets over his, I can barely get them on him. Like he barely gets over his heel. And I did the twisted German cast on. So 80 stitches is it. But yeah, these are just gonna be kind of an ongoing project. Hopefully I'll have them finished, you know, not in a crazy amount of time. I didn't cast on both at the same time, which I should have, but casting on the 80 stitches and like those first few rows on these tiny needles is just not the most fun. So I didn't do it, but I should just go ahead and cast on the other pair because I have another set of these 2mm. I wish they were longer for Magic Loop, but they're fine. They're totally sufficient for Magic Loop. I just kind of wish I had gotten the little bit of longer ones, but these are fixed. So there's no fix in that. Oh, maybe you can see them better now. That's the color. It's like my favorite Phillies uniform color, like the sky blue with the maroon. So yeah, that is that. Oh, and the yarn is, this is one of the beautiful colors. Sunset Fiber Co., which my partner actually drove me out to this yarn festival in like PA, like 2 hours away from us. And this is where I picked up the yarn, and I wanted to knit us like kind of matching socks. So that's how these are going. My cat is on the floor and she's looking so cute. I keep hoping she'll come up here. Come up here and say hello. She lays like this all the time, like on her back. Anyways, that's what she's doing. Okay. Next whip is in here. This is kind of an unseasonable cast on. It's seasonally inappropriate cast on. But like I said, I got super sick, and when I was sick, I had a fever. It was like above 102, which is really, really high for me. And I hadn't had a fever that high in like a decade. I have no idea what I got sick with, by the way. They just said it wasn't flu and it wasn't COVID. So I feel like something is going around that is like bad. But anyways, this is also kind of my acquisition. When I was in Seattle or Washington area, I went over to Bainbridge Island with my cousin and my brother, and we had a super fun afternoon walking around. Love Bainbridge. And I went to La Mercerie there, and I knew I wanted to look at their Durham Natura because if y'all aren't new here, you know I love Durham Natura. Gilead is my current favorite yarn I've ever used. I've used it on 2 projects because I used the leftovers. And yeah, so they have a bunch of that there. So I went in not with a huge plan, but I picked up some Durham Natura Ulysses, which is a sport weight, 100% wool. I believe it's like the same as their, I think it's the same like merino blend as their Gilead, which I used as just sport weight. And I held it, I got it in a few colors. I'm holding it together with a mohair. The mohair I'm using for the main red is Biche and Bouche, the Petite Silk and Mohair, 30% mulberry silk, 70% super kid mohair. And this is in the color medium red gray / rouge in French. So yeah, I've not used their mohair before. It's quite soft. And then for the other colors, I got the Berenice mohair, which is the Durham Natura one. And let's see, do I have a thing for it? No. But this is one of the colors that I got. This has a little bit of wool in it. but it's very, very soft. I would say it's like really, really soft. Like I know the Sadnes Garn Tynn silk mohair people don't like, and that has wool in it. This also has wool, but to me it just feels like incredibly soft. So we'll see if I have any issue with it. But what I'm knitting is the Norma sweater. So I cast on the Norma sweater, and here's how she's looking. I'm obsessed. If you couldn't tell, I'm obsessed with the blue, and this red is just, I love these colors so much actually, and I'm so excited for this. But this is knit up on 5mm needles. Again, I've got my quadros in action here, and I'm still on just the, I finished all the short row shaping, as you can tell, and I am now just on the raglan increases. I did 1 pattern repeat so far. To me, this is kind of giving Christmas, like snowflakes at Christmas sort of vibes, but I absolutely love it, and I would totally wear this like any time of year because I think the color is just my favorite. Yeah, so I haven't historically handled mohair the best, like on my neck. So what I did was I cast on, and the pattern tells you to go straight into it. It's got like a long high neck that you just knit and rib for a while, like a long rib. I didn't do that. I just cast on the number of stitches and went straight into the short row section. I did 1 round first of just knit around. That way I have something to pick up for the collar. Though I maybe shouldn't have done that. But because it is feeling like a little, it's definitely like not a super loose neckline, which I like though. Sorry if you can hear my cat jumping up and now eating her food. That's how it's going. That's what it's looking like on the wrong side. And I got annoyed with 6 balls of yarn attached, so I cut them. I cut the contrast color after that first round, and I actually already wove in my ends for that, because it was bothering me having so much yarn attached. So I didn't weave in this end though. I guess I just kept this one. But yeah, so that's my seasonally inappropriate whip that I'm actually really excited about. It's just knitting it around now, so it's like super chill. And I think my plan is just to slowly work on it like throughout the summer, when I could use a break from plant-based fibers and enjoy some nice wool and mohair knitting. Holding this though, it is quite warm. So it was really nice when I had the fever and I was freezing. But yeah, maybe now, I haven't reached for a ton since that like first day. Like that was what I did like the first day. And then, yeah, I haven't reached for a ton since then, but I probably will as we start to get, you know, towards fall. Like in a couple months, I'll start to work on that again so I can wear it in fall. Yeah, so that's my Norma sweater, which is a pattern by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I'm very excited for this. Okay, my last whip is my most active, what I've been working on the most. So, longtime viewers will know that I've been talking about casting this on for a minute, and I finally did. This is my Olga jacket. So this is how she's looking. I recently joined in the underarms, as you can see here. And I did add a couple of stitches to the underarms because, like I said, I just don't like it when it's like a triangle. So I added literally like 2 on each side, and I might decrease them out after the bust, or just, I might leave them, honestly. I do have, not important to the pattern, but these super cute little knitting stoppers that I got at Beautiful Knitters in London, and they're just the prettiest little tulips. This is a pattern by Petiteknit. Sorry that, I guess I don't have that many Petiteknit patterns. I just had the Sevilla Blouse, and yeah, okay, that's not bad. I do knit a decent amount of Petiteknit sometimes, but I like to shake it up. So So this is the Olga jacket. This is like the coolest part, in my opinion, is like the shoulder details. I really like how they look. Let me just see if I can hold it. So can't really tell, but this is a very, very, very popular pattern. So, you know, nothing groundbreaking here, but this is how it's looking. I love how it's looking. I'm knitting it up in a cotton yarn, 100% cotton. And this is the Erica Knight Gossypium cotton tweed. So this is what they look like. And 50 grams Egyptian cotton. There's a cat. She's looking at me. Come up here, baby. Maybe she'll come join us. So yeah, this is what I'm knitting this in. I'm gonna have like an all cotton cardigan. Thank you to those of you who commented and said that you really like your cotton cardigans that you've knitted. I did go ahead and decide to size down one because this pattern has a lot of positive ease, and the size small that I'm knitting still has like, I don't even know, I think at least 20 centimeters of positive ease. And I think because it's cotton, you know, it will like kind of grow over time. So my thinking was that I would size down one, and it's still got plenty of ease when I tried it on. I'll put in a picture of me trying it on over my super cool outfit today. But yeah, this is going really well. I've not made any modifications except for the fact that I did add on just 2 extra underarm stitches, just because I really, something about that like point I don't like. And it's not going to do a whole lot at this gauge, but it just makes me feel better knowing that I have a little bit more breathing room under the underarm. Yeah, one cool thing I think about this yarn, this is my first time using this yarn. I got this at Beautiful Knitters in London when I visited there, and I'm trying to find an end so I can show you. Okay. This is like, it's so many plies. I think it's like 8. But it's a lot of them. I don't know if you can see. And then it like, you know, gets into like a small thing. So when I washed and blocked my swatch, it kind of like fluffed up a little and filled in the gaps with that. But I still think it's looking really nice, and I love the tweedy bits. It feels very cool. Obviously it's like cotton, so it's gonna, you know, it would be hopefully like a good just throw on summer cardigan. I love the colors. Oh, I didn't say the colors of them. Let me read. This is indigo blue and milk white. And I think they just look so nice together. So yeah, this is going pretty well. I've been working on it for not like that long, you know, a bit over a week, maybe a couple weeks, or maybe just a week, I don't know. And I think, yeah, if I really work on this, I think I could get it done sooner rather than later, but I'm not really in a particular rush because, again, this is kind of like a Washington State wear or an AC only type situation. But there are a lot of cases where I bring a cardigan with me, a cotton cardigan I got from like Target or something a long time ago with me. So I would love to be able to bring my own cardigan to wear. So I'm excited for this, and it's got like such a fun kind of sporty vibe. What I'm gonna do, I think, is just knit to the end of these balls, and then pick up the sleeves and do those next. So I have 4 more balls of each color, but you do use more of the darker than the lighter. So I probably should have got like an extra dark ball, but I didn't. So I will go ahead and knit the sleeves and then probably save, I'm thinking most of a ball for the button band. So I'm a little worried about just running out of this one. So far though, I think I've either used 2 or 3 balls of each. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the last week is a little bit of a blur because I was really not feeling well. And I was working on this just kind of like while watching, you know, childhood favorite movies and stuff like that. So I've either used 2 or 3 balls, which is very unhelpful, but I do still need to knit both sleeves. And then I have to save the blue for the button band and the collar. And then, yeah, so I think I'll knit the sleeves to my length that I want. Make sure those are done. Save, like I said, probably most of a ball to do the button band and collar. And then I'll just use all the rest on going as far as I want on the body. I do like cropped things just because I said like my torso's, I think, pretty small, short. It's pretty short. So I don't think I need to knit forever, but, and the sleeves will be pretty short because it does have a pretty decent drop. This is like curled up, and in the picture it's also like scrunched and curled up. So I think there's a pretty good drop. So I don't think I have to knit it that far. Cause like it's at least to like here on my arm. So yeah, that is how my Olga jacket's going. My summer edition of the Olga jacket. I do have another Olga jacket. Yeah. The Olga sweater I knit last year. And I knit that in like kind of a bamboo superwash blend. And I do wear that a lot. That's kind of like a spring, fall kind of, even summer. Sometimes I wear that one. And it's actually in very similar colors. It's like a gray and a navy, and this is like a marine blue and a white tweedy, but I guess I like a blue and white Olga. I am tempted to make the Olga sweater in Peer Gynt in their tutti frutti, like their really cool tweedy. I just love the simplicity of the stripes, but I could knit just a different striped pattern. Like I know Zeta has one and stuff like that. But yeah, this is how the Olga jacket's going. So now I just have a lot of flat knitting on the body, and then the button band and the collar and the sleeves. So I'll knock the sleeves out for some knitting in the round enjoyment, and then I'll just go back to knitting flat prison. And like I said, I think I'm going to try going up half a needle size for the sleeves. I'm currently knitting on a 4mm. For the body, I think I'm going to try 4.5 for the small circumference of the sleeves, because I will use the mini circulars, which I don't love, but I will use those for the sleeves. So I think I will go up the needle size just to try and make my tension more consistent. I don't know why I'm singing, but yeah. Okay, so that's my current whips. I will just briefly mention future plans. Pam, why don't you come up here? Okay, Zelda doesn't wish to join us. Future plans. I'm thinking about maybe casting on one more summer top. And then I've also been thinking about a dress. So I have been thinking about different dress patterns that I could cast on. I do have a decent amount of Drops Belle in my stash that I could use. This is the troublemaker. Hello. This is a troublemaking cat. She says she would like to be released from this prison. Yeah, future plans. I would love to probably make one more summer top. I'm not sure which top I'm going to make. There's a few tops like currently in testing that I really am interested in. A couple by Sunshine Stitching Studio that I'm really interested in. One just came out, the Isabel top by Knit Pearl Girl, that I'm considering. I've also been considering the Milady's top by Vert Knit. My cat is like possessed. She's like on the floor, like crawling along, like a little crab. Yeah, and then I've also been considering knitting a dress. So there's a couple. I'm actually going to have a video coming soon just talking about knitted dress patterns, because it's been really hard to pick and there's not that many patterns out there, and people don't knit dresses all that often, so it's been a little bit harder for me to find the pattern that I want to make. So I think I'll make a video just discussing that, but those are my summer plans. I'm really still drawn to like fall sweaters, so I probably will knit another summer top or two. I'm just not sure. I'm having trouble deciding which tops to make, so for now I'm just plugging away on my Olga and the socks, and then knitting, like I said, when I really want knitting in the round or some stockinette break, then I'll work on my Norma. I also still want to cast on the Project Hail Mary sweater soon so that I can get a jump start on that. But yeah, I'm thinking like a summer top or two might be fun, or a dress would be fun. Just like, you know, another summer knit. It's still the beginning of summer and I definitely have time to finish a summer knit. This took me like less than 2 weeks, the Sabai. So I think another DK weight summer top would fly by, or even a fingering weight wouldn't take me that long if it's just like a littler top. I've considered also making another Cumulus tee. I made one last year and it's just, it's too big. So I would love to have one that fits a little bit better. So every day I look at more summer top patterns and every day I fail to decide to cast one on. So until I do, I'm just gonna keep working on my current whips. Let me know down below if you're working on any summer tops right now that you're like obsessed with, or you think that I should cast on. There's just so many good ones out there. So would love to hear what y'all are working on, whether or not it's summer tops or not. And I hope that wherever you are staying cool if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, and hopefully you're enjoying the nice cozy knitty time of year. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you are. And if you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to see more from me. I'll see you next time. Bye.